The Miami Dolphins have made some moves that not a lot of people are noticing or talking about. And I'm going to try my best to break down some film and hoping not to get copyright claimed. Let's jump into this. What is up, Finn fans? Are you still buzzing? I put the championship belt back up, but are you still buzzing from that win, from the Dolphins' victory, from that katoosh on the Buffalo Bills katoosh? I'm still buzzing, and I broke down some film, and we're going to look at it. Now, I'm doing it a little differently. We're going to look at this film a little differently. I'm going to go about it to see if doing it this way doesn't get me copyright claim, being that I am altering the footage and I am reacting to it, which falls under fair use of YouTube. So NFL, if you're watching this, this falls under fair use. I am altering it. I am reacting to it. Stop. I also pay for this. I pay you. Stop. Anyway, real quick, I want to shout out today's sponsor and the sponsor of the channel throughout the NFL season, and that is Sleeper. Fantastic fantasy app. I use it. If you want to use it, use the promo code DDW. When you click on the link in the description, you get 100% up to $100. And if you're like, hey, man, I just want to try it, you get a free $20 entry, no deposit needed. Click the link in the description. Support the channel. Check them out. So you might be asking yourself, all right, Doug, what the flip are you talking about? Things are happening that might be falling under the radar. Well, this is what happened. More changes in Miami. The Dolphins have parted ways with co-directors of player personnel, Adam Ingroff and Anthony Hunt. Now, you might be saying, who? And that's the point. That is the point that I want to talk about this. And I made like the first half of this video about this because this is something interesting. Now, my man Isaiah Smalls wrote an article to kind of give you a little bit more in depth of who these guys are. So the Miami Dolphins are not done with their internal changes. A little more than a week after the franchise and general manager Chris Grier mutually parted ways, a similar fate has befallen co-directors of player personnel Adam Ingroff and Anthony Hunt. The two were the longest tenured people in the Dolphins front office. I will say that one more time. The two were the longest tenured people in the Dolphins front office, with Ingroff joining the team in 1999 and Hunt came in 1994. Each worked their way up through the scouting department to eventually be named co-directors of player personnel in 2019. Ingroff specifically headed the scouting department and worked closely not only in the evaluating of collegiate talent, but also that of other NFL teams and prospective free agents. Hunt, conversely, worked closely with Grier when it came to the construction of the roster, including free agent acquisitions, trades, waiver claims, practice squad sightings, according to the Dolphins media guide. Also assisted the coaching staff as they architected behind their advanced scouting reports of upcoming opponents. With Hunt and Ingroff now out of a job, it's worth wondering if these changes stop there. Fans, of course, have rapidly called for Coach Mike McDaniel's job in the past month, yet a valiant victory over the Buffalo Bills appears to have staged off some detractors, even in the midst of their 3-7 start to the season. McDaniel appeared hell-bent of. So, this is why I wanted to talk about this, because maybe, just maybe, Stephen Ross and Garfinkel and maybe even Brandon Shore are starting to see things and see where the problems are starting to align. Because again, you have Ingroff, who's here 1999, he joined the team. You have Hunt, who joined the team in 1994. Now again, Ingroff specifically headed the scouting department since 2019. He worked closely not only in the evaluating of collegiate talent, but also that of NFL teams and prospective free agents. Where has Miami been lacking? in drafting and bringing in significant free agents. Now, obviously, we brought in some free agents that did help, that are currently helping. Same thing with draft picks. But for the broader picture of things, and for the bigger, if you look at the whole circumference of Chris Greer, who again started 2019, and these two gentlemen were named co-directors when? 2019. They struggle but city at bringing in the good free agents and the good draft picks. And Ingroff was the head of that scouting department. And then you go to Hunt, who again closely worked with Chris Greer. Was a problem. He helped with including free agents acquisitions, we troubled, trades, waiver claims, and practice squad signings. So again, you got rid of Chris Greer. You just got rid of two of his second in charge, I guess you can say. They are making moves. Stephen Ross is noticing, I wasted the past 9 years. I need to make these changes, and I need to make them now. And he seems to be making them. Now, again, Mike McDaniel, he's definitely safe for now. He won't be fired. If they lost to the Buffalo Bills in dramatic fashion, I still don't think he would have been fired. I think he would have at least made it to the Madrid game. So he's safe for now. And like Isaiah Small said, a lot of the clamoring for him to be fired has subsided for now. Again, you go to Madrid and you get your booty smacked by the Washington Commanders. It's going to flare back up. But for now, Mike is safe. Now, will he be safe at the end of the year? That's where the next however many games left we have to play come into a factor. You lose to the Saints, you lose to the Jets, and if you lose to the Commanders, you lose the next 3 games. He might get fired before the Steelers Monday night game, and then all of a sudden it's more about let's figure out what we have on this roster, yada yada blah blah blah. And Joe Burrow is now starting his 21-day playing. We're coming back from IR. We might be facing him. There's a lot of things that are going into tell. That's not even English. But the fact that they are now starting to pull apart or get rid of people in the scouting department and the second in command to Greer and starting to really clean out is a very good sign. Now, again, I'm not going to be optimistic until I start seeing who they sign, who they bring in as a GM, if Champ Kelly stays, if he doesn't stay, all that stuff. But this is a good sign that things might be going in the right direction if they start to make these moves and they start to make these transitions at these positions in the front office. So again, being that these moves are being made, it doesn't necessarily mean that Mike McDaniel's safe, but it also doesn't necessarily mean he's not safe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to sit here and blah, 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 but there's a lot that's going to go into this. So it's going to be very, very interesting. All righty. So now we're going to jump into the film breakdown. I want to talk about a few things and then we'll jump into the film breakdown. Again, it's going to be a little bit different. So the way it's going to work is I'm going to pop it up like this. I will break down the play. I'm going to remove it. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about it. I'll pop it back up. Maybe if I do it that way, you can still see the film breakdown. We could still discuss some plays, but I also won't get demonetized and I can still make a living doing this. Anyway, some great things I noticed. Some really good things I noticed, especially with Josh Allen. I noticed that the reason he was having such a hard time and he was running with a chicken with his head cut off, and the front of our defense was actually getting more pressure than usual. It still didn't get enough, especially when he converted at like a 4th and 13 or something like that, is because the secondary was sticking with their players. And I'm going to show you, I think the second or third play, when is it? Second play is Juju Brents just staying with, like, I'm so happy we have him and we have him under contract for like another year after this year. He is a young guy that you can definitely work with and help with your secondary, because the way he sticks with Keon Coleman, who runs a double route and just makes Josh Allen have to try to fit the ball in there, is just a thing of beauty. And I'll even show you on the 4th down where, again, it's, they try this. Oh, we're going to QB sneak it. Nope, we're not. And normally, you have the tight ends run out and then the secondary is like, well, who do we cover? We stuck with him. And then he had to just throw up a prayer because, he couldn't hold the ball forever. So there was a lot of that. I'm going to talk about the 2 interceptions because now I could show you them and then kind of show you an example of, all right, third down, throw it up. In this aspect would work, and when they did it, it didn't work because, and I'll show you why. We were talking about the run, the big touchdown run, and how Devon Achane, he broke this man's ankles. He literally had maybe about like shoulder width length, maybe a little bit bigger of a lane, and he broke this dude's ankles in the most finite area. It was just absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to talk about defense. I'm going to talk about a lot of cool things. So let's jump into this. Let's see how this works. If you see a lot of stuff cut out of this later on, like if you're not watching it when it first premieres or whatever, it's because I got copyright claims, so I had to cut it out, but it will be up on the Patreon unedited, so you can go check it out over there. So this first one is the first interception, and we're going to look at it right here. And look, he throws it now, and I get why he threw it now, because you have the single high safety and he's on the opposite side of the field, right? But I just don't. And yes, he's open because he came over. I get that. Because if he doesn't head that way, but even, see, that's what drives me nuts. They could have done something different on this play, because you see Tua looking this way. He has a ton of time. This is 3rd and 11, just so you know, on our own 34. He has a ton of time. He's looking this way. By looking this way, he is pulling the safety over. Pump fake it, dude. Because when you do that, look who you had open across the middle. But he throws it to give enough time for the safety to come over. And this isn't a 50-50 ball because he has 2 defenders on him. So again, that's why it kind of didn't make sense to me. That time, I was fine with it because, again, it's 3rd and 11. We had a whole mishap of situations happening before that play happened. But I didn't like that play because of how it was executed. And I'll show you a play where it was executed properly, but we ended up catching the ball. But you see what I'm saying? With, like, the safety coming over, if Tua would have just dropped back and looked at Waddle and kind of waited a beat to see the safety come over, he had a guy coming over for the first down, and he had time in the pocket that he could have thrown it there for the first down instead of just chuck it up and pray, right? And on 3rd downs, I hate chuck it up and pray, right? There's a difference between chuck it up and pray and trying for a long pass, right? That's a chuck it up and pray, and I hate that. So I was not a fan of that play. But again, I didn't hate it as much as I did the second one because it is what it is and all that jazz. Now we have the play here where we have Juju sticking on Keon Coleman like flipping glue. You have to watch this, right? He's going to go boom, boom. He's going to go out. He's going to stop. And then he's going to cut it back up. And look how Juju's just on him the entire time. The entire play. Right? He's looking this way. Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to come over. Okay. Oh, I'm going to go up to give Josh Allen a little bit more time. Nope. I'm going to stick with him. 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 Just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The way he was just on him. He was on him. He tried to do a double move. He was sticking with him. Then he stopped. Josh Allen came over. He tried to roll up. Juju was with him. The entire time, Juju Brents was with him. And I loved it. And when I saw that play and how much Juju Brents just shut him down, and then all of a sudden he got hurt. So they put Bonner in there. And then as soon as Bonner's in there to give up the deep touchdown, I was like, I hope Juju goes back in there, man. Because he played so good. And it was just one game being active because Rasul Douglas was hurt. But now, as Anthony Weaver, Rasul Douglas comes back. You take Juju, you put him in the slot. You take Mika, you put him back at safety. You kind of are better now at your cornerback position. Because now you got Jack Jones. I'm going to show you a great play from him. Juju and Rasul Douglas are your 3 corners. And now you can take Minka and put him back where he belongs instead of having him have to play the nickel. All of a sudden, Juju showing us that little spark. That doesn't mean it's going to continue. We have to continue to watch him develop. But watching Juju show us that little spark, definitely helps with the development of that secondary. Absolutely love it. Next play is going to be the touchdown to Malik. And this is just Tua showing his anticipation and his precision on his throws. And again, it pains me because he does these things, right? We saw the game against the Colts where he was crap. So the game against the Browns where he played like crap, the Ravens game, he was not good in that game. Like there's games that we can talk about this season where it's just like, what is wrong with him? Right. And I've talked about it, and I've talked about it on here that I'm like, I think it's his hip. I don't think it's I think it's, whatever this and that, or it's his mechanics. And I'll even show you again in a video where it might be his mechanics, but this play here shows exactly Tua being Tua, right? He throws that ball in and he had to throw it back here because I think this is Poyer, was here. So he couldn't lead him this way. He had to throw it back here also to protect his receiver. But the tight window throw here, this is where he's going to throw it, right in here, right? And he sees the safety coming over. He knows that Malik is going this way. So he throws it back shoulder. And what happens if Malik doesn't catch this? Nobody catches it. It goes out of the back of the end zone. But it is such a perfect throw in such a tight window that it drives me nuts. And this is something I was talking about with Tua since 2022, 2021. Like every year you can go into my expectation video of him, and every year I talk about he needs to be more consistent. I don't expect Tua or any franchise quarterback, I'm not calling Tua a franchise quarterback, to have 17 straight perfect games or 17 straight wow games, right? Because Josh Allen didn't have a wow game against us. Josh Allen he's had more bad games this year than he's had wow games. But you need more consistency where I can give Tua, you give Tua a minute and a half with one timeout. Oh, we're going to score on this one. Because he's going to consistently give it to you. And if he doesn't, that's when you're like, that was out of the normal. But unfortunately with Tua, him throwing these beautiful passes are the out of the normal because of the inconsistency in his play. And that has been my driving factor on him forever, especially when it came to giving him a contract extension. I'm like, he's got to show consistency and he's got to show he could stay healthy. But they did anyway. They paid him. They said, Doug, shush your mouth, Doug. You don't know what you're talking about. So now I want to talk about Jack Jones and what he did on defense because, right, sticks with his guy. Josh Allen's going to throw a little swing route here to Cook. Look him break off, read it, and boom, make the tackle for a 4-yard loss. That is on 2nd and 8 there. Just Jack Jones doing some fantastic things. Covers his guy. Okay, are you going to throw this comeback route? Nope. Okay. Oh, I see he's throwing it to him. I'm going to run up, make the play so he doesn't even get close to the first down marker. Jack Jones, Juju Smith, Minka Fitzpatrick, Brooks had great days. Even, Steeler got his first sack on the day. Jordan Phillips had a nice play as well. I'm actually going to show the Minka play right now where he makes the stop on 4th and 1. But just the defense, you have to give it up to the defense, especially because, it was like 3/4 of the Bills really not scoring anything. And this is so they try a play here where, okay, you look at it and you think they're going to do the tush push or Josh Allen's going to use his physicality to get up there. But no, it's a little play action. And watch everyone stay with their guy. You got Dotson here. I think this is Jack Jones here. You got Minka here. You got Brooks here. Every single one of them stay with their guy. They're all with their guys. And Josh Allen says, screw it, I'm going to throw it up to, I think this is Kincaid. Kincaid on Minka. He should out jump him. And Minka was like, shut your mouth up. And just smacks it down. And again, that is why it works so well and why the defense was so dominant, is because when stuff like that was happening and Josh Allen was running like a chicken with his head cut off, the secondary stuck with their guys. They were glued on to either their tight end, their receiver, or their running back. And also, they were much better at making tackles and running in and making the tackle for a loss. Now, here is, so it's six, this is the timestamp. It's 2nd and 11. We're on their 38. And this is the touchdown pass to Jalen Waddle. And this is an example of what of throwing it on 3rd and whatever I'm okay with, because we get the PI call. And why do we get the PI call? It's because Jalen Waddle beats Hairston, and Hairston panics and grabs him. Whereas the other interceptions, he wasn't beat, and he knew he had safety over the top help. And that's like this works here. Single high safety, and he's even over on the right hash mark, so he's where Waddle is on his go route. And why does it help as well? Because play action. Look at all these guys come in and they're biting, right? So now you have Dulcich on a route, which is forcing the safety to come up. Tua knows, oh, he's got him beat. I'm going to throw it deep. And he knows, crap, I'm beat. And what does he do? He makes contact, draws the flag, and Waddle catches it. That is a prime example of when throwing those 3rd down plays is fine, because you're dropping back and you have a man on man and you're like, I got him beat. Just throw it up. And if he can't catch it, it'll be knocked down or it'll be a PI, versus I'm a chucking and pray, right? The 2 interceptions are chucking and prayers. That wasn't a chucking and prayer. That was Tua dropping back, looking, reading it, and saying, oh, he's got him beat. Let me give him a chance. Let me throw it up for him and give him a chance. I know he can, you got Hairston, who's 5'11". You got Jalen Waddle, who's 5'10". Oh, let me give this a whirl. Versus the 2 interceptions where it's just like, I'm going to chuck it up. This next play is a shout out and props to Jordan Brooks. 1st and 10, Buffalo's on their own 31. Jordan Brooks shoots the gap and tackles James Cook for a loss here. Going to be a handoff here. Now, this is on 66. He should have blocked Jordan Brooks. Doesn't. Over pursues Jordan Brooks. Boom. Makes the tackle. It's like fantastic, right? Jordan Brooks, he's like, oh, he's not hitting this gap. And it's great gap assignment and understanding where this running back's going, because he's planting his foot. So he knows he's not coming here. He's going to go here. I'm going to shoot the other gap and make the tackle. 66 just couldn't get his guy. But Jordan Brooks was doing that all day long. Was just in there. Boom, 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 boom. Now, there was one play to Kincaid where he like stumbled and kind of Kincaid went out. But again, I don't expect the defense to be perfect. I don't expect the offense to be perfect. I don't expect Tua to be perfect. But I need more consistency. And this is a bad team, right? We beat Buffalo. We beat them soundly, and it's fun, and I'm very happy. But at the end of the day, and even Omar said it on the Dolphin Collective, this still is a bad team, and there's still flaws on this team that need to be addressed. So, we'll see how the rest of the season. I'm not done, just, I still have 3 more plays I want to show you. But see how the rest of the season goes. But this game really showed that there's a foundation that you can work with. This next one is the pass that I was talking about. And this, when I watched this to set this up for the film breakdown, this is why I honestly think that the reason his passes were off and he was throwing dumb interceptions and he was sailing throws and all that stuff was his mechanics. I'm starting to like backpedal a little bit, not fully, but I'm just like taking a step back on maybe it's the hip. And I'm starting to really lean into it's his mechanics, because watch this. And I'll show you what I'm talking about, all right? Again, play action. And what does play action do? It makes everyone bite down. Tua goes to the right hash mark. You're going to have Jalen Waddle here. He's going to run another kind of a cornerish route, right? He's going to run in, and then he's going to run here. You see the safety coming over. See how Tua plants his feet? And see how, I don't know if you can really see it because it's kind of small. See how his mechanics here, right? He's not completely opening his chest up when he's throwing. I'm going to throw it righty, but he's not like trying to like pose for a picture. He's planting his feet. He's got his feet planted and he's ready to throw, right? You see what I'm saying here? See how this is a good form of him throwing the ball? Because he needs to throw it all the way over here. This is a long distance. And he does it perfectly. And he gets it right to him. And honestly, I think it's because of his mechanics. And I'll show you on the next play with the interception that it's a chuck it in prayer. Whereas that one's not a chuck it in prayer. That is like I'm going to throw it. I'm going to roll out to my left. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be on the left hash mark and I'm going to throw it to the right sideline, which is not something he normally does because, again, there's no denying it. He doesn't really have the arm strength to do it. But he did it. And he threw it very well because of his mechanics. He wasn't speeding up his throwing motion. He wasn't opening his chest when he was throwing it. His feet weren't all over the place. He threw it very well because of the way he was planting his feet. Now, here is the second interception. Now, horrible block here from, I think that was Brewer, actually. But see how, like he just, not even anywhere near the play. See what I'm saying? Screw it. Like, Hairston's with him. The safety's starting to come over. Tua just chucked it up and said, screw it. You know, he even had him coming across the middle. But again, he had a defender in his face because of the bad blocking by the offensive line. He just said, screw it. And then he fell. So then Hairston catches it. But I think even if he didn't fall, it probably would have been knocked down, maybe best case scenario. But that's what I'm talking about. And that's why I did not like the second one, because of the just screw it, you know? They just throw it up, whatever. I got single high safety look, even though the safety was coming over by the time the ball got anywhere near the receiver. You know, when he threw it, Waddle was like maybe 5 or 6 yards upfield. Hairston was ahead of him. The safety was starting to come over, and he was just like, I'm about to get blasted. I'm just going to throw this thing up. Just take the sack. Because at that point, again, we were only up by 10. He does intercept it. He does run it back to there about 38. Thank God there's an illegal block in the back, which puts him all the way back to the 12. Again, hindsight, everything worked out, but it could have went bad very quickly if that got run back for a touchdown, because all of a sudden then it is 16-13, or if they eventually got a touchdown, made it 16-13. But thankfully the defense stepped up and continued to step up and stop them. Because if not, again, dumb. And I say that and people are like, oh, I don't like it. Try another play. Try, crossers. Have a go route, right? Make them respect that route, but have stuff underneath so Tua can drop back, look, notice the safety's coming over, and throw it where he needs to. And if Mike McDaniel's going to come out and say, oh, I told Tua to throw it, that's just him taking the blame. But at the same time, Tua, don't throw it. I hate chuck it up in prayers. The last one we're going to talk about here is the long touchdown run. The first one, not the second one. And I want to talk about this one because of, like I said, that cut. You're going to have Mayrick here fall, but still get the block. Look at this lane. Look at this little tiny lane. Breaks them. Look at that jump cut. Watch him jump cut. Whoop. And just in the smallest area, wham, jump cut, gone. Puts on and you know who that is? That's Jordan Poyer. Puts on the burners and gone. Absolutely love it. Fantastic game by the team all around. Again, Tua throwing the 2 interceptions, regardless if he was like, I wanted to try it. Mike McDaniel said, I told him to do it. Don't do it again. Especially if you're playing such an opponent that's so much better than you. Just don't do it again, please. Actually draw up plays to convert a 3rd and 9. You can convert a 3rd and 9. We've seen it throughout the season. At one point, you had a very good 3rd down rating. Can you please just stop doing that? But run the ball. That's so you could see what worked. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, hopefully I didn't get copyright claim, so I can keep this up or not unedited. Can you see it? Let me know, comment below. Be like, hey Doug, this way of it works. And if you don't get copyright claim, keep doing it this way, because I don't mind dropping it down, talking to you like this, and popping it back up, showing it, all that stuff. So comment below, let me know. I will see you tomorrow with the picks, Friday with the preview. If I have a video planned or more things happen, kind of like the mutual parting of ways is happening, I'll make a video about that. If I have any ideas, I'll make a video about that like I do on Saturdays. But I will see you Sunday bright and early in the morning, 9:30 in the morning, for the Miami Dolphins taking on the Washington Commanders. Hope you have a cup of Joe, because it's going to be an early one. But other than that, like usual, stay classy. Offense up.